All right, we've done three of them for the Legacy Award. We'll have a lot more to go through. First off, Dr. Jerry Graham. And this is honestly the beginning of that Graham name with people like Superstar Billy Graham, Mike Graham, Dr. Jerry Graham Jr., which is his son. I believe no, it's not his son. It's just the Graham name. Everyone's pretty much a Graham, kind of like everyone was a Von Erich, except these were kayfabe and not legitimate, and several others. But I swear he was a manager as well, but I don't think he was. It doesn't say he was, but I'm sure he was. But as far as wrestling is concerned, I mean, he had a different way of doing things. I mean, first off, for Capital Wrestling, which was ironically owned by Vince's grandfather, so Vince Senior Senior. Yeah, for those keeping score at home, who was also a boxing promoter, which eventually became the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, or the WWF. Four-time NWA United States Heavyweight Champion, the Northeast version, with Eddie Graham. The WWF United States Tag Team Championships with Luke Graham. For Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling, their world title for NWA Gulf Coast, their heavyweight title. For Maple Leaf Wrestling, the NWA International Tag Team Championships, the Toronto version with Bulldog Brower. For Mid-South Sports, the NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship, the Georgia version twice. The NWA World Tag Team Championships, the Georgia version once with Don McIntyre. The NWA, for NWA All-Star Wrestling, the NWA Canadian Tag Team Championships, the Vancouver version with Abdul the Butcher, and the NWA World Tag Titles with the Vancouver version with Abdul the Butcher. For Stampede Wrestling, the NWA International Tag Team Championships with Jim Wright. And for the WWE, the World Wrestling Association, the WWE World Tag Team Championships twice with Don Kent. For next one, Judy Grable. You look at Judy Grable, and if you've ever seen footage of her, the interesting style that she has. She was, of course, in a part of a battle royal to determine the at the time new NWA World Women's Champion, which originally went to Moolah. But you think about her in pop culture. She was a main appearance contestant on the private TV show at the time, What's My Line? That episode became famous in part of, the risque banter of Groucho Marx, and his thing at that time was interesting as well. But for accomplishments, it's short, but it's not bad. For the Cauliflower Alley Club, this is on January 2002. For Georgia Championship Wrestling, the NWA Southern Women's Championship twice holding that, and for the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame Museum for a woman wrestler inductee in 2011. And speaking about women, June Byers. You think about what she did in the wrestling. I just want to make sure on this No, okay. Yes, okay. That makes sense. Apologies, I just wanted to make sure on this. Again, another wrestler that did well in women's wrestling at the time. You think about what she did in wrestling. Originally, the original NWA Women's World Champion. And that's only because of a controversial 2 out of 3 falls match between Mildred Burke and June Byers. Byers won the first fall, but the match was called after an hour, I believe during curfew or close to curfew, because curfew was a thing in those days, especially during the Shea Stadium cards. And of course, Byers won the title because of that. But you think about her accomplishments in there. One-time Women's World Champion, which she won from. She won from Burke, I believe. Or she. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was during that controversial fall, 2 out of 3 falls match, where she was recognized as originally the first NWA Women's World Champion. Also, 5-time Women's World Tag Champion, with twice with Millie Stratford, once with Maine J. Mole, once with Mars Bennett, and once with Barbara Baker. For the AWA, their Women's World Champion, which I believe she was also, yes, the inaugural. Yes, she was also the first champion for that. Ironically, also defeating Burke for that title as well. For Championship Wrestling from Florida, the NWA Women's World Championship and the NWA World's Women's Tag Team Championship in the Florida version twice. Once with Millie Stratford, and once with Mary Jane Mole for the St. Louis Wrestling Club. The NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion, the Missouri version with Millie Stratford. Of course, the inaugural NWA Women's World Champion, a championship that has so much prestige, especially nowadays, with the NWA being stronger than ever, I believe, after the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Class 2006 for the women's wrestling category. For Ricky Dozan, a man who was God. I mean, I believe, honestly, without Japanese, without Ricky Dozan, there is no Japanese wrestling. It's really that simple. If you think about what he's done in professional wrestling, I remember great matches that I've seen recently with Ricky Dozan and the late great classic Freddie Blassie. Great matches with Lou Fez. One of the only men that I can remember, one of the only men that could legitimately defeat Lou Fez, and did legitimately defeat Lou Fez, which was very hard to do, for sure. And if you think about it, without him, again, Japanese wrestling would eventually be a thing. If, I believe Japanese wrestling would be a thing, but it wouldn't be the level of it now. It wouldn't be like All Japan, New Japan. It wouldn't be like it is today without Ricky Dozan. And of course, he founded, as far as accomplishments were concerned, a bigger one than this. He founded the Japan Wrestling Association, which eventually split to All Japan and New Japan. But as far as that's concerned, a former All-Asia Heavyweight Champion, a former 4-time All-Asia Tag Team Champion with Toyo Nobori, I hope I said that correctly. The JWA All-Japan Tag Championships that came with Toyo Nobori. The NWA International Heavyweight Championship, which he actually beat Lou Fez for, which says a lot. Excuse me, but former Japanese Heavyweight Champion, 5-time winner of World Big League, which I believe is a tournament. I just want to double check on that. Yes, tournament. For Mid-Pacific Promotions, 3-time NWA Hawaii Tag Team Champion, went with Bobby Burns, went with Azuma Fuji, and once with Kukichi Endo. The NWA Hall of Fame class of 2011, the NWA San Francisco Pacific Northwest Tag Team Champion, San Francisco version with Dennis Clary, NWA World Tag Team Championship, the San Francisco version with Kenochi Endo, and we'll continue with Ricky Dozan after this.